What is good, Tesla family? It's Ray J back with another video, and this one I'm going to be breaking down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to talk about the Cybertruck event and how Tesla's looking thus far, and some very important warnings I have about how Tesla's moving for right now. But before I break anything down, all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please smash the like button if you want to see more videos like this. It not only benefits me, it benefits the entire Tesla community as a whole. So in my video from yesterday, I was mentioning that Tesla was fighting for this 250 resistance. I told you that if Tesla held this area, okay, if it managed to hold above this, I would turn bullish. And if it ended up, breaking below this resistance, and we ended up failing, and we just continued to sink back down, I would turn a little bit more bearish. So I gave you guys some potential bearish signals on Tesla. I gave you guys a warning that it might sell off, and that's what happened thus far. I also thought that Tesla would see like more downside possibly after the Cybertruck events because of these signals, but instead we're actually selling off beforehand. So we got the sell-off I was talking about. It did end up happening all the way back down to our target of this 238 area, which is where we have this imbalance. But the question is, what do I see for Tesla moving forward? What is my warning about Tesla? I'll talk about that in just a couple of minutes. Let's first go over something very important. The Cybertruck event is happening in just about an hour from the time I'm recording this at 2 p.m. Central Time. This is going to be, once again, where they're going to be possibly announcing 10 units being delivered to employees, which is great news for Tesla. I think that it may be even higher than that. I saw another report saying it may be like 12, but either way, it still is good news for Tesla to some extent. It's good that Tesla is once again fulfilling their promise about the Cybertruck. It's good that they're making deliveries happen, and it's very, very awesome how they're going to present this new product. I'm very excited about this for Tesla's long term. I hope that they continue to improve and they find different ways to produce it with not only volume production, but to do it in a very profitable manner. I also believe that Tesla will be profitable on the product in the future. It's going to take a while to get there, but this is just the start, and it's great, great, great news for Tesla, a big milestone for the company. However, when it comes to the event, Tesla pumped very hard approaching the event for the last couple of days. We saw this massive rally, and if anything, now Tesla's starting to give a lot of those gains back. So this has been kind of like a pump and dump type of price action, but I just want to warn you guys about something else that's important. So you could live stream this or even like watch the broadcast on Twitter. I think you can also watch on YouTube. It should be on YouTube too. It's going to be once again at 2 p.m. Central Time, or about, if you're in the Pacific Coast, for me, it's like 12 p.m. For people on the East Coast, it's going to be at 3 p.m. So if you're interested, if you're going to be watching this, it's all up to you. Make sure you're prepared just to be safe. I also want to remind everyone that all the economic data that came out today was as expected, very close to expectations too. For tomorrow, do not forget, we have important manufacturing numbers, then Jerome Powell giving a speech. That's going to be important for the whole market, including Tesla. Anyways, let's talk about how Tesla's looking. In my opinion, I'm now becoming a little bit more open-minded, and here's how I'm going to explain this. So I think that for December, right, December's coming up, there's likely going to be more selling coming to the markets. If you look at SPY has tanked quite a bit. We're now below 454, looking very, very weak. The daily time frame is looking weak on SPY. We're seeing this thing continue to weaken. Tesla on the daily is turning a little bit weaker, but we're still holding above our important EMAs and our important supports. So it's weaker, but it's not necessarily in like a full-on flush just yet or as of right now. Apple's looking weaker. The market is looking weaker, right? So I'm thinking, and listen to this very carefully, for the next 2 weeks, there could be more selling coming to the markets, which could slow Tesla down. However, I am not a fortune teller. I am not some magician. I do not know what's going to happen exactly during the Cybertruck event. So there's always the possibility that we could see like some kind of pump on Tesla. I'm not saying it's going to happen, just like a possibility, a little pump on Tesla during the event. Sometimes some surprising things could happen. Maybe if Tesla makes some large announcements, something that's unknown about the truck, who knows what's going to happen. So just to be safe, I want you guys to be prepared for any possible pumps here and there. I think ultimately there's more downside coming later on for the markets going into tomorrow and beyond, going into the next 2 weeks. But I'm not going to focus on that for now. I just want to focus on Tesla and how it's looking. So be prepared for any pops just in case something happens during the event. All right. So if I want to be bullish on Tesla, just hypothetically, right? Not saying that this is going to happen. If you're bullish, you want to see Tesla break out, completely switch directions, and you want to see a change in market structure, right? Look at the structure right here. We made this high, lower high, right? This is a lower high right here. We made this low right here. This is a lower low relative to this one. So we made a lower low, lower high, lower low. It's continuing to downtrend, right? If you want to be bullish on Tesla, okay, if you want to see this thing break out, you need to see this thing bounce and start pushing to the upside. You want to see it get back above 247. This is going to be one resistance. Once we break this, we could be establishing a change in market structure. We're also testing the breakout area. So this is where our key support is at this 238 area. So watch that carefully. If you're bullish, you want to see 247 break. Once we break that, watch 250. We need to hold 250. If we manage to do that, this thing is going to launch all the way up to 257 to 260. That's the super bullish case. However, we're not even close to 250 yet, so it's looking unlikely, it's looking difficult, but you always want to be prepared just to be safe. If we're bearish on Tesla, okay, if we're bearish, you want to see Tesla basically lose 238. If we lose 238 during the event, or maybe after the event, it's going to start sinking for 235. Then we have 232 to 233. I think 233 is specifically a very important level because you'll notice that on the daily charts, the 20 EMA happens to be at 233, and on the 4-hour time frame, the 200 EMA also happens to be at 233. So we have a confluence of support at 233. That's going to be a good target on Tesla if this thing continues to break down. If we lose 238, I think 233 will be coming next. So it all depends on the event. I know that it looks bearish, and I know I could say it's going to likely drop more. The odds do favor that based off technicals, but technical analysis is not everything right now. The event is going to be another big factor. So just to be safe, we're going to be watching to see if Tesla gets a temporary bounce or not. And if it does get the bounce, awesome. If it doesn't get the bounce, then it is what it is. All right. So we look bearish. It looks like Tesla's going to, sink much lower. It looks like there's more downside coming. However, I can't say that with super high certainty just yet, at least for today, until we see what happens with the Cybertruck event and what the reaction is tomorrow. Okay, so we're going to be watching this very, very carefully. It could sell off more. The odds do favor more selling as it looks weak. But just to be safe, make sure you watch these resistance levels. Watch 242.5, 244 to 245, 247, 215, 252 as our resistance levels, and see if we could get some kind of bounce or not. If it keeps collapsing, it's going to start sinking much lower. If we lose the support I called out at 238, we're going to be sinking even lower, and we're going to be watching for 233 on Tesla. As of right now, it looks weak, but we'll just have to see what happens with the event just for confirmation. So I do favor the downside, at least for like the more like super short term. I favor the downside for the medium term too, for like the start of December. I know it's not what you want to hear, but that's what I'm seeing on the charts. And for now, however, the Cybertruck event is just like something that's happening immediately, and that's why there could be some changes in price action just very, very temporarily. But regardless of what happens, I still anticipate some downside. And I just still hold that view. So I hope that's as clear as possible. I am bearish for December. I think that there's going to be downside. I'm just not as certain about what's going to happen during the event specifically, during the Cybertruck event when it starts. So I just want to prepare you guys for any pops here and there, and just know that for now, Tesla looks bearish from a technical standpoint. All right, I hope that's as clear as possible. Trying to not be too confusing, if anything. When it comes to SPY, this looks bearish, but we do have Jerome Powell giving a speech tomorrow. We'll see how that affects us. However, regardless of what Powell says, regardless of what happens, I still favor the downside. If you look at the daily on SPY, like I was calling out, I'm going to be really quick with this as well, just so I could like get this video out there as fast as possible. We look bearish on the daily time frame. We have this triple bearish divergence became a quadruple one not too long ago. And we're turning on the MACD. It's about to start turning. Going to be looking for 446 to be tested as gap support. If we lose that, the next level is going to be 440, where the 50 EMA is. At the very least, I do see it coming to the mid 440s. I think there's quite a bit of downside coming for the next 2 weeks. I think this may slow Tesla down too. For Aapl, looks bearish. The same thing. 186 is likely coming. If we lose this, I think we could fill this gap that's even lower. I think 185 is going to come first, and then we'll see if that breaks. If that breaks, then 182 is next. QQQ looks bearish. If we look at the daily charts, it's selling off. We're going to be watching 381. If we end up losing that, well, actually, we have support right here at we're at support at 386. If we lose that, then 381.5 is next. Then we have the gap fill at 370. It's like 377-ish. I see downside, guys. We're going to come down to the low 380s very soon, quite easily. On Nvda, it looks bearish. We have this nice looking downtrend. We ended up losing 468. I was talking about this potentially happening. The next level is going to be between 459 to 461 because that happens to align with our 50 EMA, and also our 4-hour time frame is showing that 463 is where we have support. So it looks bearish, very, very weak. Nvidia may continue to sell off. Watch support at 463 and then 461. I think it's going to continue to sell off. Microsoft is selling off, and many of these tickers are red, as I predicted. The dollar is bouncing as we predicted. The VIX is bouncing as we predicted. All of this happened almost exactly how many of us predicted it. It's just that for Tesla, like I said before, I think there's more downside coming in the future for Tesla going into December, but I'm not too sure what's going to happen specifically during the event. So make sure you watch for any possible bounces here and there. Watch and see if we try to like change directions or not. But from a technical standpoint, based off just technical analysis right now, we look bearish on Tesla. We're looking pretty weak. It looks like it may break support. All right, so I hope that's as clear as possible. Okay, we look bearish on Tesla, but we'll see what happens with the event and how that affects it. But until then, I will see you guys very, very soon after the event is over. All right, so this is your warning, guys. Have a great day. Remain calm, cool, and collected, and get ready for the Cybertruck event. It's going to be fun. It's going to be eventful. I'll see you guys very, very soon. Tesla to the moon, because the long term is still very, very bright. I'm still very bullish for the long term on Tesla, despite these short term changes, these nuances in the share price. Thank you again for listening, and peace out.